Despite my crippling arachnophobia, I have a deep love for the character of Spider-Man. The brand new game, Marvel Spider-Man 2, has brought it out of me. He's a true blue hero. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. And responsibility is a choice. And Peter Parker makes himself available for everyone, despite the inconvenience to himself, and that selfless nature is what makes him one of the best heroes around. Plus, that costume is killer. 10 out of 10, would wear again. And before we move on, I have some pictures I took in Marvel Spider-Man 2's photo mode. I would like for you, the audience, to review them real quick. Did you love them or did you love them? Please tell me. I have a deep need for validation.
Number 2.
I've always had a deep obsession with the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Why? Because I'm just fascinated by the idea that a man can split himself into two separate embodiments of good and evil. First of all, who does that unless you're just deeply unhappy with yourself? And that's what makes the story so great. The story is an allegory for so many things: repression, shame, guilt, lust, all these very juicy things that makes me as a reader or as a viewer of content just captivated and engaged. And not to mention that it also taps into that other aspect of horror that I like so much: transformation, body horror. I just like that stuff. It's creepy and it's weird, and sometimes it makes me uncomfortable, but I do love that stuff quite a bit. Plus, depending on what version of the character, he could be transformed into just a much more shorter or stouter man like he does in the original book, or a younger man who is also very much a murderer, or a murderous monster. Or not even a murderer, just a very obnoxious younger adult who still causes problems for people. But the story is ripe for allegory, and that's why I love it. And that is why it is one of my obsessions.
Number 3.
I am both fascinated and terrified of the idea of werewolves. Growing up, they were just a very, very terrifying creature to watch on screen, because how scary would it be in real life if somebody you knew or loved, or just a random stranger, just happened to transform into a werewolf in front of you and then eat you? That's what happened to Ola Ray in Thriller. And I stand by this. She was dumb because she didn't run. Common sense. You should have ran. That's your life. That's your life. That's beside the point. The great thing about werewolves that I love so much and that I'm also terrified of is the idea that a person can transform into something that they can't control, that they cannot tame, and they can represent anything from repression, identity, puberty, sexuality as a teenager or even as an adult, rage, trauma, all these different things it can represent, and it just makes for good, juicy content as a viewer. And quite frankly, I love it. Plus, depending on how you design the werewolf, it can be very, very cool. And that's my top 3. What are yours, chat? Tell me, what are yours? What are your top? It doesn't even have to be 3. It could be top 5, top 4, or just 1. What is your top pop culture obsession? Put it down in the comments below. I will be checking. This is a test.